Let's talk about this anti-militia bill that's been submitted in the House and the Senate. I've discussed it already, but there's been some confusion in the last 48 hours. I've gotten a few emails saying that it's passed and stuff like that. Let's talk about it. Let's go over it in detail so you know what's in it, so that when you are talking to other folks, you can tell them about this bill. I want to first thank the sponsor of the video. That's Blackout Coffee. BlackoutCoffee.com/GNG. I'm one of the owners, and I wanted to tell you about our Valentine's Day sale. You can save 20% store-wide by using code BLACKOUTLOVE. We have just started. We're in our new facility now. Thank you to your support, and we're churning things up. It's been a lot of orders and some hiccups. We're a couple days behind, like almost like a holiday. So if your stuff is delayed a day or two, please understand why as we grow into this new place. Also, real quick, if you buy anything Gun Owners of America related or Firearms Policy Coalition related, whether it's K-Cups like these or bag coffee, we send $2 of each item right back to them to fight for the cause. We donate every single month. So thank you. BlackoutCoffee.com/GNG. Let's get into these two bills, okay? The Senate version is S3589. The House version is HR 6981. In the House, it was submitted by Representative Jamie Raskin, and in the Senate, it was Senator Ed Markey. I want to tell you what's in these bills, and then we're going to discuss the future of these bills and what I see happening to them. Now, they're called the Preventing Private Paramilitary Act of 2024. Key parts of the bill is it adds a couple definitions. One would be a large capacity ammunition feeding device. These bills, if they become law, they will have a magazine ban in them. It says the term large capacity ammunition feeding device means a magazine, belt, drum, feed strip, or similar device that has the capacity of or that can be readily restored or converted to accept more than 10 rounds of ammunition and does not include an attached tubular device designed to accept and capable of operating only with .22 caliber rimfire ammunition. The other definition I want you to be aware of is person. The term person means any individual, partnership, corporation, company, association, firm, society, organization, or governmental entity, whether incorporated or unincorporated. And finally, private paramilitary organization. The term private paramilitary organization means any group of 3 or more persons associating under a command structure for the purpose of functioning in public or training to function in public as a combat support, law enforcement, or security services unit. Now, I'm also putting more stress on this because I just told you in the videos floating above of the sting that the FBI is conducting on just the person I told you about this week that was arrested was claiming to be a sniper for a militia. And he mentioned militias in 4 states that were going to accompany him to the border to do work. Now, if you don't think the FBI is looking into those other militias right now, you are from Biden world. Let's get back to this bill. Let's discuss unauthorized private paramilitary activity. The offense: it shall be unlawful to knowingly, in a circumstance described in subsection B, which we'll get to in a second, while acting as part of or on behalf of a private paramilitary organization and armed with a firearm, explosive, or incendiary device or other dangerous weapon, 1. Publicly patrol, drill, or engage in techniques capable of causing bodily injury or death. Everybody who trains tactically at a range, takes classes, this could encompass all of us. 2. Interfere with, interrupt, or attempt to interfere with or interrupt government operations or a government proceeding. 3. Interfere with or intimidate another person in that person's exercise of any right under the Constitution of the United States. 4. Assume the functions of a law enforcement officer, peace officer, or public official, whether or not acting under color of law, and thereby assert authority or purport to assert authority over another person without the consent of that person. Or 5, train to engage in any activity described in paragraphs 1 through 4. Yeah. Have your attention? I hope. Share this video too. These are the circumstances just mentioned. The circumstances described in the subsection are that the conduct described in subsection A involves A. Travel across a state line or national border. B. Use of the channels, facilities, or instrumentalities of interstate or foreign commerce. 2. Involves a firearm, explosive or incendiary device, or dangerous weapon that has traveled in interstate or foreign commerce. 3. Involves the use of ammunition or a large capacity magazine feeding device that has traveled in interstate or foreign commerce. That's all of them. 4. Obstructs, delays, or affects interstate or foreign commerce. Or 5. Occurs wholly within any Commonwealth territory or possession of the United States. There are some exceptions. It's the armed forces of the U.S., the National Guard, the Naval Militia, or any regularly organized state militia, or any unorganized or reserve militia called into service by a state or the United States. Now, some of you have been saying, hey, it says state militia right there. If it's not recognized as the state militia for your state, there's a loophole that they're going to assert right there. Some more exceptions. A group of individuals who associate as a military organization solely for purposes of historical reenactment or study or parade in public as part of a bona fide veterans organization with no intent to engage in the activities prohibited by subsection A. 3. Students in an educational institution authorized by the federal government or a state to teach military science as a prescribed part of the course of instruction when under the supervision of a military instructor. Or 4, members of an organization that is authorized under federal or state law to provide paramilitary, law enforcement, or security services training, or to engage in paramilitary activity, law enforcement, or security services when performing the functions authorized by law, and in the case of paramilitary activity and law enforcement functions, when under the direction and control of a governmental authority. The penalties. Any person who violates subsection A shall be fined under this title, imprisoned for not more than 1 year, or both, except, they're going to tell you how you can go to jail for longer. 1. In the case of a violation that does not result in bodily injury and is committed by a person who has not, prior to the commission of the violation, been convicted of violating a federal or state law, the person may be sentenced to probation for a term of not more than 1 year. 2. In the case of a violation that occurs after a prior conviction under this section has become final, the person shall be fined under this title, imprisoned for not more than 2 years, or both. 3. In the case of a violation that results in damage to property, the person shall be fined under this title and imprisoned for not more than 2 years, or both. And 4. In the case of a violation that results in a bodily injury, the person shall be fined under this title, imprisoned for not more than 5 years, or both. And B, death. The person shall be fined under this title and imprisoned for any term of years or for life. Forfeiture. In general, any person who violates subsection A shall forfeit to the United States any property, personal or real, involved in, used, or intended to be used in any manner or part to commit or facilitate the commission of the violation, or that constitutes or is derived from proceeds traceable to the violation. So that's the criminal side. They're looking to jam you up any way they can. There's also a civil side as well. Check it out. Civil remedies. Public right of action. Whenever the Attorney General has reasonable cause to believe that any person or group of persons has engaged in or is about to engage in any act prohibited by Section 2742, the Attorney General may bring a civil action for preventive relief, including an application for a permanent or temporary injunction, restraining order, or other order in an appropriate district court of the United States. And then there's the private right of action. Any person injured as a result of any violation of Section 2742 may bring a civil action individually or jointly with other aggrieved persons in an appropriate district court of the United States for preventive relief, including an application for a permanent or temporary injunction, restraining order, or other order, or for damages incurred as a result of any violation of Section 2742, including reasonable attorney fees and costs. Okay, now you know what is in the bill, okay? Both bills, the House and Senate version, are identical. Here's the kicker, okay? A lot of us are upset about this bill, rightfully so, and the people who submitted this, this is basically treasonous in my mind, and they should be held accountable because this violates the Constitution. This also goes against the Militia Acts. Now, a lot of people in the last 48 hours, like I said, have been saying, Jared, you don't even know that this just passed the House or the Senate's voting on this right away. Let's pump the brakes. I just, as of right now, today's, I don't know what's today's date, February 9th, I'm recording this at 9:55 a.m. As of right now, the House version, Jamie Raskin's version has 11 co-sponsors out of 435 members of Congress. 11. It's been assigned to the Judiciary Committee in the House, where I don't think it's going to move at all. It's basically dead. When 11 of 435 support something, the writing is on the wall. This is just a bill where Jamie says, look what I tried to do, vote for me, woo! Let's go to the Senate version, because this is even better. Ed Markey's version in the Senate. Remember, there's 100 members in the Senate. How many co-sponsors? 1%. 1% of the Senate supports this ass clown. This hasn't even been assigned to committee in the Senate, which means even Chuck Schumer knows that this has about as much chance as passing as a bill to put up a border and make term limits and make sure they balance the budget every year. So I see these as dead in the water. I'll keep my eye on it just in case, because you know they can do things to make things go by unanimous consent and maybe attach it to a bill that ought to pass, stuff like that. So I will watch out for that, and I'll keep you in the loop. All I ask for you to do is to know what we're talking about and tell other people what's going on. You can do that by liking the video and share it, and subscribe to this channel down below. Subscribing is free, doesn't cost you anything. It just tells YouTube that, hey, this channel has some worthwhile information. I appreciate you all from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for watching this channel. Go forth and be that sentinel that keeps America safe. Carry a gun, y'all. Take care.